Super Bowl 52, you never know who you're going to run into. We got Ryan Leaf, and I've seen you all around. You've been talking all day. And you got a vulnerable story, and people want to hear it. I give you a lot of credit for putting it out there. I guess for me, starting off, like I like that you've just been about accountability.
Right.
And at what point in your life you're like, you know what, I got to be accountable myself. I got to be accountable to people.
Well, I had my roommate in prison was an Afghani-Iraqi war veteran, and he taught me a lot about sacrifice and accountability. And then there was a moment, right, that when I was able to look at myself in the mirror and go, Ryan, you're here because of what you did and nobody else. That was a turning point and a very freeing one for me.
And so I think that hopefully people are hearing that, because a lot of people want to blame everything that's going on around them and what's going on in their life, and eventually you got to look in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, I think I blame the Chargers, I blame the NFL, I blame the media for sure, and then ultimately I blame the doctors. But what was my part in all of that? No matter what they did, I can't control what they do. I can control how I react to the situation. And that sounds like a simple thing to learn, but it took me a long time to figure it out.
I think it takes a long time for a lot of people. You were about, I think when you were younger, money, prestige, and power.
Yeah, those are the three ideals that I thought were success, and they just, it's not the case. It's not. I thought it was. The ideals I live by now are what the standard bearers are at Transcend Recovery Community, where I work, in their accountability, spirituality, and community.
And so what does that community part mean for you?
Huge, because when I used, I isolated. And also, when I played, I thought I was better than everybody because I played this silly sport. And it's really about finding yourself, finding a home, surrounding yourself with people who hold you accountable, who unconditionally support you, and that's what the community is. And the cool thing about a recovery community is it grows bigger and bigger. I come here and do something like this, and all of a sudden I develop relationships with people who care about my mission and care about what we're trying to do, and they're a part of that community then, and it grows bigger and bigger.
This was obviously not the plan, and here you are. When you're, I guess, connecting with people, what do you get back coming at you from people that were sort of in your spot around it, and then you're helping them?
Well, it's neat to see somebody take what you show them or talk to them about, see them apply that to their livelihood and flourish because of it. That's cool. But then again, I can't control what they do with the message, so it's important that I just show up, I'm consistent with my message, and I go about doing it.
Take me back to you're young, you're super talented, everyone's kissing your ass, right? And you think, I saw one of your quotes, like the only difference, I guess the thing at Washington State was the difference between God and Ryan Leaf is that God doesn't think he's Ryan Leaf. So but that's like for any athlete who's, hey, you're the greatest, here's this, here's that, and then you have to learn that, okay, there's a lot, it's actually not necessarily the case. So what's your advice to, I guess, the up-and-coming superstars of the world?
Just because you're a great football player doesn't make you a good person. And I think you have to build that foundation first. Sometimes, for a long time, I felt like what I did on Sundays or Saturdays, the entertainment value that I gave to people was my service work, which is absurd, right? You have to be willing to be of service to another human being, because you're exactly the same whether you play a football game or you're a janitor at a high school. You are exactly the same, a flawed human being just trying to be better on a daily basis.
And I find it amazing, because you're being told one thing. If the parents aren't in there, let's talk to the parents for a second. You got this superstar kid, and a lot of times the parents are all worked in with, like, prop them up, and they don't want to actually be the parent. They just want to be the friend,
Right.
So what does that look like to you, as far as, like, what would you say to parents?
Well, again, parents, there has to be accountability there. You have to be the check and balance with what's going on, because you've been through it. Maybe not necessarily the exact same thing. My father didn't go through the experience of being a professional football player like Peyton's dad did, so where he had some understanding. But my dad had lived an amazing life, one of service. He served 2 tours in Vietnam. So, there's sacrifice and accountability there. He is a person I should have listened to more. The fact that I have all this life experience now, and having had a boy myself, I'm going to be a much better father because of it.
What's it like for you going back to Washington State, being around the Cougar fans? What does that mean to you?
I haven't had the opportunity yet. For whatever reason, there'll come a time for healing, I suppose. But I understand where they're coming from. I know family members that aren't going to trust me for a very, very long time because of all the behaviors and the choices I made. So, I'm okay with that.
It's a daily thing, though, right? We all have to get up.
Being a better person is a maintenance program, right? You're constantly trying to be better every day, and that takes fallen down a bunch, and as long as you keep getting up, I would consider you always being a success.
That's it. Let me ask you one on who do you like? Super Bowl 52. What do you got?
I think Philadelphia from top to bottom is the better football team. I really do. I can't go against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They just prove everybody wrong, and they're not playing the Giants. Yeah. So I'm picking New England 28, Philadelphia 27.
Great to talk to you. Congrats on your success. Keep going.
Thank you very much for having me.